Anytime you engage the mind, you've limited yourself. Unless you've learned how to engage the mind and not lose your consciousness or your awareness following that mind. And I've been weaving this all through this week, so you will know and help to open you up and pull you back to consciousness, to awareness. Because it is just like health. It is simplistic. But as duality dictates, it just appears to be complex. But when you realize you are the source, just manifesting in individual form, and when you truly get that, then you will have God consciousness. And the only way to understand that is not through the mind, is through being it. That's how you navigate from consciousness into creation, is you become that which you create. You can see that when you go into a movie house and you're watching a movie that the director was really good. He will make that movie so good that you will forget who you are sitting there in the movie house watching the movie. Yeah. And then, oh, I'm in a movie house. That's how good the movies are. And you're creating your own movie. Not so much consciously, of course. You know, I've always said there's so much you can become aware of and be and do in the God worlds. You can be way showers. You can be the creative dreamer yourself. Think about how you could expand your world. If you could create endless forms and teach those forms to be self-creating, conscious creators, you could create endless universes, endless worlds. And that's what's going on. Each and every one of you, your experience is a feedback to the whole. That's why creation exists. It has really no validity whatsoever other than that, as far as I know. Because it's here today and gone tomorrow.
The universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving, right? So then people who show up for themselves every day, they start feeling pretty damn worthy. Like they're like, I'm worthy for this. Not like an entitlement way, like something. They just like, I feel like it's gonna happen. I'm worthy for it.
You be the divine, giving wisdom to those that seek it. You're finding you don't need to be the seeker anymore. Move from the seeker to the knower. Because you are the knower. Sometimes you just don't know it.
When man discovers the creative power of inner talking, he will realize his function and his mission in life. Then he can act to a purpose. Without such knowledge, he acts unconsciously. Everything is a manifestation of the mental conversations which go on in us without our being aware of them. But as civilized beings, we must become aware of them and act with a purpose. A man's mental conversations attracts his life. As long as there is no change in his inner talking, the personal history of the man remains the same. To attempt to change the world before we change our inner talking is the struggle against the very nature of things. Man can go round and round in the same circle of disappointments and misfortunes, not seeing them as caused by his own negative inner talking, but as caused by others.
You are imprisoned by your present concept. You're not behind bars. You're going to go home tonight and sleep as the woman, as the man you really don't want to be. So you are in prison. Now look into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and persevere. Do not only be a hearer of what to do it. And you will be blessed in the doing. He said, I am not in prison. No, you're not in prison, not physically, but you are in prison. You may today need money. And you say, oh, I'm still not like the fellows who are behind in Sing Sing. All right, you're not behind jail doors, but you are still behind. Behind in rent, behind in this, and the dunning notes from all the places where you charge, you are behind bars. You can't seem to find the necessary sum to pay them. All right, look into the perfect law of liberty. That's the perfect law. Well, how do I do it? Rearrange the structure of your mind. The demagnetized piece of steel does not differ in substance from the magnetized, only the arrangement of its molecules. And then one lifts up enormous weights when it's completely one-pointed. When all these molecules face one direction, it's a powerhouse. The other is scattered. So let not the double-minded man think that he will in any way receive from the Lord, you're told. The same first chapter. If the double-minded man comes, who is unstable in all his ways, that he not think he will receive anything from the Lord. What can you give a man who doesn't know what he wants? So I am telling you, you rearrange the structure of your mind. That's all you do. It doesn't differ from Einstein's mind. There's only one mind. There's only one God. There's only one Lord. Listen to it. One body, one spirit, one hope, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of us all, who is above all, through all, and in all. If he's in you, that's the same one with the one body, the one spirit. So I'm not using a different mind. It's the same mind, but differently arranged.
I think that the divine lives in every human being. I think that we all came from oneness. We came from source. We came from singularity. We came from pure love. What do you want to call it? Pure consciousness, where there's no separation. The consciousness of everybody, of everyone, of everything, of everywhere, of every time. All the information that exists, past, present, and future, in that source. You're hanging out in source forever. You start thinking eternity. Is there anything else but oneness? What if there were many instead of one? And that's what created a separation from source. And we descended all the way down into density. We're fooled by our senses into the illusion of separation. And so now then, when we come down to this level, we have so much separation that we have the free will to create reality exactly the way we want. We took a piece of the divine with us. And we become so immersed in this less than 1% of reality, because where you place your attention is where you place your... So how much of your waking day do you put your attention on energy and frequency, and how much of your waking day do you put your attention on matter and memories from the past and predictions of the future? But just because that... well, first of all, let me ask a question. How many people in this room believe in the quantum field? I'm just curious. Okay, so the thing with the quantum field, though, is that if you're unaware of it, it doesn't exist for you. If all of your attention is on the material world, it doesn't exist for you. It's there, but you're disconnected from it. You have no connection to it because you're unaware of it. Just like your nose. Your nose has always been there. The moment I ask you to become aware of it, it exists for you. The quantum field is the same way. It's this invisible field of energy that is the full spectrum of all frequencies. And as you get closer and closer to greater frequencies, there's greater levels of experience that we get to have that has nothing to do with this three-dimensional reality. So in this three-dimensional reality, it's called space-time. And it's called space-time because it's got an infinite amount of space. I looked it up. The space is actually accelerating now. It's not just expanding. If we have infinite space, and we experience time by moving through space from one point of awareness to another point of awareness. Nothing wrong with that, but if you truly want to pass through the eye of the needle and enter that realm called the quantum field, you can't take your body. You can't take the character. You got to pass through the eye of the needle into that realm called time-space, that quantum as pure consciousness. You gotta leave the identity, the character behind, and the moment the person becomes nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time, and they can linger in that vacuum, in that emptiness, without a name, without a face, without a profession,
without a past, without a disease. They can just hang out as pure consciousness. It is very fertile ground. I want people to know that they're greater than they think, that they're more powerful than they know, that they're more unlimited than they could ever dream. And all I want to do is give people my greatest understanding of the truth, and then numerous opportunities to experience it. And sooner or later, they'll run into something really big. They start believing in their future more than they've been believing in their past.